19, worked in the northern end of the Barossa, fell in love with the wine business, went to work in California, in Spain, France, Italy, California again, and then finally 10 years later I moved back to settle permanently in the Barossa in the 90s. And working in France was probably the most important for me in my career, particularly in the Rhone Valley, where they're basically considered the home of the varieties, the predominant varieties we grow here in the Barossa. Because I'd been in the Barossa and seen the old vines we have here and didn't understand the significance of how important they were. I realised that our vineyards were just as old, if not older, our climate was just as good, if not better, and I thought, I can't see any reason why I can't come home to Australia and make wines as good as they were making there. I started making wine, not necessarily to sell it, I just started making wine because I wanted to see if I could do it myself, without somebody telling me what to do and when to do it. So I found some old vineyards, reworked them, brought them back into production, started making a little bit of wine, and one thing led to another, and the next thing I knew I was in the wine business. And then I decided to start making wine under my own name. And so I started a company called Torbreck. Torbreck then became a bit of a phenomenon, and of course Robert Parker from the Wine Advocate, the world's most powerful wine critic, about 3 or 4 years into me making wine, discovered my wine and reviewed it really highly, and the company just took off, and it grew at a rate of knots over a 10-year period to becoming not just one of the most powerful wineries in Australia, but one of the most famous wineries in the world. One of the reasons I decided to want to make wine myself is a particular bottle of wine that I drank. It was a French wine. It was actually from a company called Chateau de Beaucastel in Châteauneuf-du-Pape in the Rhone Valley. And I drank that bottle of wine and the bells went off in my head. I just thought, this is fabulous. I would die a happy man if I could make something like this. One of the greatest things for me is many, many years later, I visited Chateau de Beaucastel and the owners at the time, the two brothers, and they admitted to me they actually were buying a case of my wine that I'd made, basically, if you like, not an imitation, but inspired by their wine from my agent in Paris at the time. So to me, that was just, I couldn't believe it that some of my heroes were drinking my wine. So about 7 years ago, I left Torbreck and started up a new business. And winemaking is all about the grapes. The winemaker can be as clever as they like, but if they don't have the raw material, they don't make great wine. So when I left Torbreck, I got a collection of growers together, started farming these vineyards and started making wine. But then I sort of thought to myself, well, I really want it to have a sense of place. And our main vineyard, where we're sitting right now, is on Neldner Road in Marananga in the Barossa Valley. Neldner Road's significant, or Marananga's significant, because it is direct circle Barossa Valley Road. You know, you've got other wineries, very famous wineries up and down the road, other famous vineyards. So to me, I want the name to be Neldner Road, because that basically says who we are, where we are. Yes, my name's important, and my name will be on the label, front and centre, don't worry about that. But at the end of the day, to me, it's all about location and what you're doing. So the Barossa Valley's like, Bordeaux in France, it's like Napa Valley in California. Barossa Valley is the place in Australia to make very, very high-end, very expensive, very exclusive wines. One of the great things about living on Neldner Road is I'm right in the middle of it. I sort of feel that I live it every day. I walk out my back door and I'm in the vineyard. I don't have to drive here. I don't, have to think about getting here. I'm here. This vineyard I've been farming since the 90s, early 90s. I know every vine in the place. I can actually prune a row of vines. It takes me a couple of hours, and I get to the end and I don't even realise I've done it. I feel like I'm more of an artist with a wine. I'm actually sculpting the wine rather than actually just making a beverage.